Not one time in my coaching career has somebody come to me for a lesson and said, you know what, Dan, I want to hit the ball shorter, right? Everybody's trying to hit the golf ball further. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips that are going to help you hit the longest drives of your life. Okay, so tip number 1, if you want to hit the longest drives of your life, we always talk about setup, right? So what we need to see, players that hit the ball long, oftentimes they'll have a wider stance than their shoulders. And a lot of times you're gonna see the trail shoulder is a lot lower than the lead shoulder. So what I want you to do is just take your setup, normal setup, little wider stance, take a golf club. I've got a driver. I'm holding it on the center of my chest, and what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to tilt until the inside of the grip actually touches the inside of my leg. What that's gonna do is it's gonna get you set up to be able to hit drives that launch a lot higher, have lower spin, which is going to equate to more distance. Tip number 2, if you want to hit the longest drives of your life, is to understand how players that hit the ball far do it with the pressure shifting in their body. We've got tip number 1, which gives us good setup and tilt. Okay. Tip number 2, little more pressure on my lead foot. So if I started off 50-50, I'm going to actually lean more 55 or even 60 on my left foot. A lot different than most of you guys have heard, or most of you do. Most of you, when you tilt your shoulders back, will actually get 80-90% of your pressure on your right foot. That actually increases your high spin shots, decreases distance. So what we're going to do, start with 55 or 60 on the lead side. We're going to feel like we move and shift and get close to 80, even 85% on my trail foot. The second part of this is pushing down as hard as I can on my lead foot. So it ends up being a dance move. So easy way to do it. Get your drive set up, a little wider, a little more tilt, 60% on the lead foot. And I want you to just practice making air swings. Load more of your right foot, push hard on your left foot. So left foot, right foot, smash left foot. So big thing we do with our juniors, overload the left side, overload the right side, push as hard as you can on the left foot. As soon as I get a golf club in my hands, I can start to feel how that's going to actually increase my club head speed. So wider stance, good tilt, a little more load on the left side, overload the right side, push hard on the left foot. If you do that, you're on your way to hitting bigger drives. Tip number 3, if you want to hit the longest golf drives of your entire life, this is tip number 3, which is increasing your angle of attack. Simply put, angle of attack is, am I hitting up or am I hitting down on the golf ball? You think of, if I want to launch the ball higher in the air, create low spin, I generally am going to need to increase my angle of attack or hit up. Best way to do that, take a head cover, put it about 8 to 12 inches in front, and then what we're going to do from our setup stuff that we had, we talked about loading and unloading. What we're going to do is we're going to miss the head cover, so it looks just like this. And that's about 330 right down the middle, baby. If you want to hit longer drives, you got to follow, you got to do these 3 tips.